All right, let's get popping, man. So we want you guys to engage us as well, because I'm sorry, I'm hitting Carlie. Because what we want to do is just kind of talk about what's going on now, how everybody's doing, how you've been holding up, share some tips for just like maintaining your sanity as well as staying productive / resting, because you don't always got to be turned up. It's okay to take a minute to chill. As for me in my house, I like to get money, so ain't really too much chilling over here. But that's what we're gonna talk about. Hey, Whitey,
happy belated birthday!
Happy birthday yesterday. We're sorry we didn't get together.
We tried, man. We really did try for you,
but we're here today.
She had a pretty dirty 30, you know what I'm saying, for Zoom call wise.
Oh, you had the Zoom call?
We did.
Did y'all have a party?
On Zoom.
Oh, God.
It was like a bunch of us. And then on Instagram Live, she was like bringing people in her chat and they were making her take shots.
Yeah, that's funny.
Her mom came in the room and started drinking.
That's good. Ooh. That's cool. And so that's kind of like what we're basically talking about today is just how we adapt to these new norms. So let's officially get this thing started, because what we're going to do is take this live stream and be able to turn this into our podcast episode for Monday. So whatever you guys say, however we shout you out, you're going to be involved in this. So don't wild out too crazy in the chat, but do what you want to do, ask what you want to ask. So thank you everyone for listening and for joining us live at home, episode 80 of Carlie's Couch. Cheers,
80.
Y'all.
Cheers. Yeah, cheers to us too.
Yep,
Shit,
cheers
80.
to us. Air cheers from here. Even though she's mad close and not practicing physical distancing, I'm gonna let that slide today. If anything happens to me,
it was her. It wasn't me. I think it's important when thinking about this discussion is to kind of check in to see where everybody is. So how are y'all feeling? How have you been affected with this pandemic, with social distancing, with possibly not being able to work?
I recently heard somebody say that physical distancing is the term they prefer, which I agree with, because we can still be social in this way. Mm-hmm. Just like you just said, Lauren had her birthday via Zoom and it was virtual. People took shots, etc. Mm-hmm. So I think that we can still be social. I don't think that much has changed. I think it's more about being told you can't do something that kind of affects people a little more, as well as I think one of the biggest things is being in one space for so long. Like, it's different, working from home sounds mad cool until it's like you turn around, it's not like me chilling at home, but I'm in the same spot. So it doesn't hit as well when you're in the same space all day. But I see Cleesa saying he's great. Anybody else? How you guys doing? Yeah, already seeing Earl and Nate already told us what's up.
Yeah.
But as we're talking, let us know how you're affected by these particular things. What's she saying?
Marvin says, I'm chilling, but I'm going to have to start standing on the porch for sunlight at least once a day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank God. I'm so glad that I live in LA during this time, to where I can at least get a little bit of sun and look out at some palm trees, at least have some scenery. But outside of that, I have been sitting outside, still working from a balcony, etc. So that is so important.
Mm-hmm. And then Taysha, today is the first day I feel like I'm excited to be in my space during the quarantine.
I wonder why is that? I'm interested to hear why that is.
Yeah, why today of all the days? And then Whitey said her days are running to, whenever you don't leave. It's kind of like a casino. Like, you don't know what day it is. You don't know what time it is. Kind of what's going on. Especially, I think if that's not your leaving those spaces that can impact your whole day.
Cleesa says, I've been working from home for years, so this is just another day. And I'm so glad you said that, because that leads me to what I was going to ask Carlie is that, what's the difference for somebody like you who mostly works from home? You do work in a lot of different places, though. So that may not be a fair question for you. But for me, I typically work from home, or I have my office space that's nearby. But I've been working since 2012. So I'm used to having my space in that way. And yet I still feel kind of affected. Even as somebody who works from home, like I said, you still kind of like, oh, but I can't, I'm not supposed to do anything. Like, now I really have to make sure I really differentiate that time that I'm working versus doing other things.
Agreed. And I think that's interesting because I saw your tweet about being like, I'm born to this, like, from working from home.
Yeah, I was turned up in a weird way. I was more inspired kind of to just put usually on Saturdays and Sundays. For some reason it hits different because everybody else is running around and stuff. And I usually run around on a Wednesday is my Saturday. And then on the weekends I like to work. And so for me, it's it's the same stuff for me. I feel like I can talk to people and help them figure out like how to make it a better experience.
And you had asked about how I'm affected or feeling. So I do teach classes. My side hustle is, teaching fitness classes and yoga and mindfulness at a gym. And the gym got completely shut down. So I was like, oh, I'm not stressed money-wise. Like, that sucks. And that sucks for small businesses, because now they're struggling to keep doors open whenever they can't make money. But I was like, man, at least I'm insulated and have done right there.
You know what I was like, well, I'm sorry, y'all.
At least I'm insulated and, have these, small business consulting opportunities and things, until all those small businesses started calling me and being like, hey, we're so sorry. We just don't have it this month. Like, we don't want to have to close doors. And I get it. But I thought I had insulated myself from all of these things by making sure I have multiple streams of income. And all of a sudden life was like.
I think it's so funny how we can be like, oh, I'm not affected because I don't go to an office or because somebody else cannot fire me. At the same time, this is the lesson that we learn from all those tweeters who be like, kind of anti like working 9 to 5 and you should have something for yourself. And it's like, but now what do you have when they can't go to work? You don't have anything. Like, it all builds upon each other. And so you got to be careful not to be that type of person. And that was the first thing I did. So what was interesting in how I kind of processed all of this was that my first thoughts were, all right, how does this affect my work? And then for me, that means how does that affect my clients? And I weighed those things out. But quite frankly, because I work in digital marketing space, I chose to see a lot more opportunity. And so all of my clients were like, oh, shoot, we got to take our efforts more digital, more online right now because people can't come out. We can't do this event. Things were getting canceled, et cetera. And so it's like, all right, what's the best strategies to come up with to get people engaged online? Ways to switch your PR, for example. So if you have PR already going on that had certain messaging, that's not appropriate right now necessarily, or may not have been. So we had to switch strategies. Well, how are we helping during this time? Or what are we doing to bring value to people during this time, et cetera? Now's not the time to tell people, go to the store and get my product. And so, it forced me to get creative, which I like that challenge. And my brainstorming helped tremendously with coming up with some campaign ideas, et cetera. But yeah, I was just thinking about opportunity, and also what opportunity in with a lot of events and things like shutting down, where can I insert myself to help other areas like maneuver this field? So I chose to look at it that way, opportunity in what I could do with my work, as well as opportunity with what I could do with the time I may have. And do I want to rest? Do I want to create a project for myself at this point? Do I want to work with my friends who are not working because they freelance or they're in filmmaking? All the studios are shut down right now for at least another 8 weeks. So it's like I have access to resources now too with them. So that's kind of the rabbit hole I went down as far as, all right, this may slow down, this may change. Like one of my clients, a launch they had, got cut and they couldn't do it. So things did change for sure. But I definitely see lots of opportunity.
And I think that's interesting because a lot of people, and rightfully so, are looking at this as like a disaster or something terrible, because it completely changed everything. But I kind of like to see that as opportunity too. For me, it wasn't like, oh, wow, look at all of this opportunity. Like the guy with the butterfly. It was like, oh, shit. I need to eat and I got to pay rent. So how can I get scrappy while also providing value for my clients? So, if I'm working at the gym, if I'm doing my programming in a school, if I'm, doing program development for corporations around mindfulness, like how can I still do those things? Like I had 2 speaking engagements get cut that were paid. Child, I was so sad, but I get it. And so I had replied back to them and I said, hey, I completely understand. Would love to reschedule once this is over. In the meantime, is there anything I can offer you virtually or online that would be of assistance to the people that, at your job? Like, how can I help you? And for myself, it was like, all right, baby girl, like, what we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, what else can you do? Being able to, like you said, work with your friends, like, Whiteman being at home and Tay and everybody, just seeing what else we can all hop on together that might help us, but also help the community.
And one of the biggest things though that makes this not a panicky thing for me, is that everybody's going through it. So it's also not like it's just affecting me. It's not just affecting us in LA. This is something that is affecting everybody. And so with everybody being in the same boat, it's like, okay, like, first of all, them folks is going to figure something out because they need to get their money together. But as for me, it's like, all right, well, everybody's in the same boat. This is like, we're at this playing field and now what am I going to do with this? So I don't think you need to be judgy about how people use that time. For example, like we said, I have friends, like I said, who, right now they're resting, they're doing other types of things. They're just using this time to read and like just sharpen up their skills, etc. So for you guys, while we're getting into the next topics about how we're using our time, go ahead and throw in the chat like what you've been doing with this time. Is it the same old, or have you started doing something new? And we'll kind of pull from that.
And while y'all are thinking and typing about things that you've been doing, I want to go to like Nanurl and Tayshel's comments about what we were talking about. They're saying Nanurl saying she's just stressed, like lazing around, taking shit slow because her job search got fucked up by everything that's going on, and her mom is quarantined in New York, so that's a lot of anxiety. But it's helping as she gets back. I'm happy to hear that. Would love to hear what that routine looks like. And is it different than what it was pre-pandemic, or or what does it look like now? And then Tayshel was saying, like, with her space, why it feels good now is because work invaded her space, so it felt really foreign to her, like an intruder kind of in her space. But today she deep cleaned, went grocery shopping, and tapped into her candle stash. Ooh, what kind of candles you burning? And also, is that your normal weekend routine? Is that what you do on a Saturday?
Not you been staying in the crib, right? Training for 5Ks. What are you going wrong with? Nobody.
Hopefully not breathing on you either.
Man, well, I think that my routine has not been extremely different. I have not been going to many places that I can't just walk to out here. But for the most part, it just feels different. I think it just feels different more than it really is. What about with you? Like, what have you done to, like, if you can't go to the gym and you can't go to these different places that you were expecting to be at, what are you doing with that time?
Sheesh. So first of all, I just want to say that I miss weights. I'm going to take that time out to say I appreciate them and that I miss them. I have been much more intentional with my routine because I kind of have to be, because if not, all of my days could blend together and I could end the day and not do anything, because right now I don't have to be anywhere. I don't have these clients. I don't have things. And so every single day I
don't have any deadlines or anything.
Yeah, no deadlines or anything going on. That's what I'm saying.
I have more deadlines.
No, see, and that's why I like that
I've
you're
been
talking
like
about it.
15 hours a day, like, and I'm never like that, like, but I've been like having to go hard, like wake up at 5 and I'll go to sleep at like, no, I still go to sleep at 10:30, but like work till like 9.
And see, mine is very different. And instead of trying to fill that time with busyness and like, I'm going to do all these things and I'm going to go, like, I'm going to use my stimulus check and start an LLC, Twitter, like all of that stuff. Instead of doing those, it's like, okay, well, how can I be intentional? So I've been doing the things that I normally do, but I've been intentional. Like on my to-do list, there's like 30 to 60 minutes of getting sunshine, 30 to 60 minutes of reading, because it has only been 15 to 30.
That's your to-do list?
That's part of my to-do. It's not my whole to-do list, but it's part of it. Being kind to myself is part of my to-do list. What is the other one? Being kind to myself, reaching out to a friend. I reach out to a new friend every single day. Just text, call, whatever, depending on our relationship. How you doing? Just checking in on you. Making sure that I'm using that time in a way that honors myself, but then also reaching out to clients saying, how can I help you right now? Like, even if y'all ain't got the bread, like, what can we do? Like at Thrive, we've been doing free, like, live streaming workouts every week. Just asking for donations, but also making sure we're putting that out. Like we always talk about giver's gain. Like, how can you add value to people right now in a time where they really, really need it without being like, nope, that's $800 when I know you don't have it.
Yeah, that's not the space that I'm in, because my time is fully built out more than ever, for sure. And so I've been having to more so struggle to have my chill time. And when I can chill and actually just not being stressed while everybody else is kind of trying to hit me, or they might not be as busy and doing things. But I haven't maintained being active necessarily. But I don't like working out like that. It's just something that I do. So I don't feel like I'm missing out on that. I do in my planner, I did write, so 7 a.m. my headspace. And then from there, I put self and shower sometimes. And sometimes if I don't put shower, if it's a day where it's like I start out having East Coast meetings, so maybe I have a meeting at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. With some of the people that I work with. And sometimes it's like, all right, I got up, I meditated, and then I just hop right into like my meetings and calls and stuff like that, looking trash, and knowing nobody's gonna see me for like the rest of the day anyway, and then I'll clean up later. So the only thing I've really been throwing into my schedule is just time to switch locations, whether like me and my 1, 2, 3 other friends, we have our quarantine circle where we're like, all right, guys, we're the only ones like allowed to each other's house. So, and they're walkable. So it's like literally across the street. Like I'll go over there or they'll come over here and we'll hang out in that way and do our brainstorming together, stuff like that. But for the most part, like I haven't really been getting active and stuff, or doing anything creative like that?
I kind of had to, and I'm also using it like as a time instead of, like I said, trying to fill it with things. I'm like, all right, universe, God, you like took everything away. So obviously there's a moment that I need to pause and be still and reflect and figure out what that is. And so I've been trying to be really intentional about not filling my time with nonsense. So I do have a moment like that I don't always get, you know what I mean? Just to sit back and reflect. This social distancing has helped me with my goals for the year. I've been cooking, not eating out, cleaning the house, organizing, and exercising regularly. I love to hear that because she is a cookie monster, snack monster, loves chocolate. Nanura routine is a little more flexible. Waking up later, getting back to journaling, got a Corona edition goal list, trying to output UX videos weekly, and starting to learn Korean. Do you know Korean?
감사합니다. Of course. So I think that's good. That's one of the tips. We had Carlie collab with Black and Bold, the Black-owned coffee brand, one that I work with, and she did 6 tips on just work or whatever it may be. Learning a language is a good one, and I know right now, like Netflix is fucking winning, Duolingo is winning, Babbel's winning, all these streaming are winning, grocery stores are winning, Walmart's up 400%. So people in some spaces are good, but like everybody's streaming and watching things now. And I don't know, the other day I felt kind of bad because I'm like, yeah, I'm just watching TV, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, you got to chill and do something. So I think that's good. Tisha says, I haven't been really active either. I'm being intentional about getting back to my workouts this week. That's good. And I think that's good. If you feel guilty about, being cooped up, or if you're
I'm doing it by trade, but also by practice because it helps me with my mental space. And like Cleese, as I mentioned, like Cleese is right. Perfect.
Look, I'm just reading what's right there.
You can buy some resistance bands, man. I've been using all the resistance bands, all those things. Yes, for the yoga mat, Whitey, I see you. Yes, you do. And like I said, for me, that's a way that I clear my head. And so that is just a carry on of my regular routine, figuring out how to fit it into this new normal. So since I can't always just go to the gym, like I've been finding ways to get active inside, which normally I hate at home workouts. So I've been trying to do that.
Yeah, it's not the same. And another thing, though, is that I've kind of been paying attention to just how other people seem to be reacting and responding. And like I take certain apps off my phone, so I'm not really on as much. But I want you guys to kind of say, like, how have you seen the overall response around you? I feel like it's been pretty pessimistic. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be either in this, but this is what I've seen. Pessimism. I've seen kind of seems like desperation a little bit, kind of like a shoot, like everything's falling apart. What are we going to do? I've seen some people say they're more inspired. And I've seen some people seem kind of nonchalant. And of course, we all see the humor that everybody's bringing to it with all the jokes back to back online because, why not like joke about it if this is what we have to deal with? But I don't know. I'm kind of surprised, I think, in how torn apart. And I guess it's such a real thing when like everybody's checks are like affected, and when your money's affected, like people can really, fall off. And like it depends on what type of person you are and where your security kind of lies, / what's really important to you, how much you're affected by that. And I think personally, just because I'm so used to being on like, fucking hustle mode that it's like, all right, like, I've had some random, money not come through before, or, whatever it may be. And so I think I'm living in the jungle. I get why, people feel that way. People actually stay home, the curse flattened, etc. But we don't know. And right now, for the foreseeable future, there's so many businesses and so many people that are affected.
Yeah, I think I've also just been in the jungle for long enough to not be like, affecting my money. But what I do see is like, the gym that I work at is a small business. Her doors are closing. She's trying to figure out how to keep her doors open. She's been open for 3 years. My mom worked for Walmart. She's a retail employee, and just seeing like they're hiring all these extra employees, but they're cutting her hours. Now the school is closed and Boys and Girls Club is closed. So what about the child that she fosters? So she's just stressed the fuck out. I see all these people getting off, like one of my line sisters.
Thoughts around just maintaining during this time and like not panicking. I think one of the biggest things that I want to, get people to do is to not spread misinformation, not be pressed to be first to say something, not be pressed to retweet something, share something, the conspiracies and stuff, and knowing what things are funny and like joking, and making sure that you're not necessarily just spreading stuff that other people aren't gonna realize is a joke, or that they're gonna take as serious. I think that also takes away from the messages that are going out that are important, and telling people what is happening, that they need to stay at home, or like actually giving the news from reliable sources. And so I would say to make sure that the sources you're looking at, or that you are checking, if you're checking the news more, which a lot of people are now, to see what's going on with these checks, and what's going on in your region as far as what you need to do and how you need to prepare. So get those couple places on deck, and then just make sure like you're filtering well.
Yeah, that's super important. I've seen a lot of misinformation. Like, The Onion is not a credible source, fam. Figure out what it is. Like, Google satire. Like, understand that a lot of
I mean, and there's like farms that create profiles just to put out like BS news. So I mean, you just got to be careful for it. Then it also says I see a lot of the same. That's why I kind of like slowed down, took some of the stuff off my phone, just because it just wasn't making me feel good. And again, not to say that I should be feeling good during this time, or that, you still can be like, haha, coronavirus, I'm going to win against you. Like, it's not like that. But like, I don't necessarily need to live in that feeling of fear, if that makes sense. And that's what I don't really care for.
Yeah, and I don't like getting caught up in the wave. So for me, like, I need to take a step back from social, because I've been on it much more since everybody else is, and that's like another way to like feel like close to people. Another tip whenever all this stuff is going on is to actually connect to people. So like, instead of just being on social media, like favoriting tweets and doing
random unsaved numbers, being like, yeah, how you holding up? And I'm like, I didn't want to be like, yo, who is this? But I didn't know who they were. And then I got a couple friends who have reached out to me, which made me think, like, shoot, like I'm doing a terrible job of reaching out to people. Like even with like my family and stuff, I was thinking about, my mom works in a lab, so she started sending us updates because she's like working with this stuff now. But it's a good time just to check in. And but I think one of the reasons, though, if I'm being honest, Carly, that I don't always check in is because a lot of people like to make the situations more about them than it really needs to be. And as much as like some people might think I'm being an asshole sometimes, I don't want to come across as an asshole. But when I'm asking like, yo, how you doing? And they're like, man, I don't know. Like, I think I'm doing good, but like I have a headache a little bit, and man, And it's like, all right, like you don't fucking have it. Like, just chill. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like some people are trying to be a little bit more down about it than they need to be. And even that can be a drain, like checking on people sometimes. And so, for me, like I've been hitting people with some texts, just making sure you're good, just seeing, if they need anything. And also like if they're trying to like work on anything or be a part of anything right now, because some people have that time. So like I said before, I'm kind of like recruiting a little bit.
No, exactly. And same, like had a lot of times, since we have more time now, a couple of the trainers that we have bigger plans on doing things like programming and opportunities for kids and stuff, like we've actually had the time to sit down and start to plan those things out. So it's beautiful to see it come together. But for those people who you feel like might be a drain, like I have some family members and things like that, I'll hit them with a text like, hey, just thinking about you, love you, have a good day. Like, because I know that my energy can't like sustain like all of them. No, I won't say nonsense because it's real to them, but I can't. It's too heavy for me. And I have enough things in my life. Like, I'm not willing to take on other people's things unless I call them and want to do that. So with those people, I would just say, don't feel guilty. Like you have to FaceTime everybody. Just hit them with a text. Hey, thinking about you. Hope you have a great day. Let me know if it's available. Let me know if you need anything, if that is something that you want to do. But just, I think, the world is just kind of getting us to slow down just for a moment. And to, have those opportunities.
Nano says, yes, it's really difficult for me to talk with other people because I'm not really trying to talk about the virus. Exactly. Like everybody just wants to talk about this one thing. My fam tries to do a group video chat each day, and I just cannot. Every day. And I ain't gonna lie, because so my dad's already been retired. So I'm like, dang, like, I guess it makes sense that you would hit us up more though, because my dad, like, even when I'm at home during the holidays or something, he would still be up there like 6:30 a.m., have a suit on, be like, all right, I gotta go. I'm like, where are you going? Like, you don't work. He like, and at the end of the day, I'll ask him, yo, what was your day? He's like, yeah, I did Meals on Wheels, and we did this somewhere, and then we did like some other program, and he was at the library. So like, he really does stuff, but like, yo, you don't have to be doing all that. So I noticed even with my parents, like they text me way more, like people kind of hitting you up a little bit more, more memes and GIFs that you saw on Twitter 3 weeks ago and stuff like that. But it's cool, man. You still gotta like, breathe right now and like let people communicate how they need to communicate. So I don't know. I feel I get it.
Yeah, I think that's important. Another tip is like when you start to feel overwhelmed or just things to think about, I guess, in this time is to assess how different areas of your life might be affected. Short term and long term. So, like Lex was mentioning her clients, like there's a lot of opportunity in digital right now and online with social media. So, thinking about that, health, that's super important. I saw that like Mac and Whitey and a few other people were talking to show maybe talking about saving money by not eating out, by not spending a lot of money at happy hour, like on drinks and stuff.
Although, like with health and assessing what's going on, it's also staying on top of assessing what do you need and like making sure your needs are taken care of. As far as like people talking about having toilet paper or having certain things. I remember, not to be TMI, when this thing first started, as far as staying at home here, I needed feminine products, and I went to the store and was like, damn, like niggas took all the fucking pads. Like, what's going on? Like, it's not that serious, fam. Like, what I'm gonna do? So, like, stuff like that is like, yo, make sure you're prepared and like make sure you have what you need, and don't hoard. I would say don't overdo it, but get what you need and pay attention, like to what's going on, so that you can get out and get things taken care of without it being at that last minute when everybody's like rushing around.
Yeah, exactly. Just being very intentional and looking at how it's affecting, everything in your life. For me, it, like I said, is making me think a little bit bigger. One of the nonprofits that I work with, we were making bags of food and taking them to immunocompromised and elderly and kids we know whose parents don't necessarily have money for food. And so, like, how as a community we can come together and also like help people within our various levels of expertise and access and things and those ways.
If any of you guys have anything that you want to bring up as far as, this experience right now, or any questions for us, feel free to throw them in there. Please, as I said, too many people don't know how to live with themselves at home without social media. That's kind of true. One thing I was thinking about is, what gets me, the trap for me with like Twitter especially, will be if it was on my phone and when I wake up, if the first thing I do is start scrolling, I'm gonna be stuck for a little bit. I keep thinking, if I don't like it here so much, why do I keep coming back? Twitter, or if it's annoying me, why am I still here? Why do I keep coming back? Why do I still feel like we need it a little bit, or it's something to do? And I thought about how different society is from 10 years ago to now, and that it never had that much of an audience. Like for anything, like anything you say is just in front of so many thousands of people. Like you actually gotta treat yourself right, and you gotta like love yourself and like make yourself feel good and enjoy yourself. And that can be difficult. And like that can be something that we've put aside in our going out all the time and doing stuff all the time. And I've even thought about that. Like there's all the jokes about how there's about to be a zillion like Capricorn babies and everybody's got grown babies and booed up and stuff. But like when you're at home, you're like, dang, wish someone was around, or whatever it may be. I roll up or go throw on Netflix or like cuddle up in my blanket, whatever I need to do. Like, I intentionally say like, all right, this is my time to feed myself however I need to. And whatever that is, whether it's creative projects or watching something, you got to figure that out for yourself. And that's the thing, like in general, you can't need people like that.
Yeah.
Or depend on them, rather.
Exactly. I would say depend. I saw a tweet, which is funny that in the context of this discussion, where someone was like, wow, it only took a week in quarantine for me to realize my daily routine is like me trying to escape. Like, is this just escapism? And so, I've been being very conscious too, like even with working out, like, am I using that as escapism and not like dealing with my stuff? Like, I know it's healthy and important, but like, if I'm not dealing with what's on the inside of me and finding ways to love myself and just, clothing it in a workout and boosting those endorphins, like, damn, that's a self-check. And so, like you said, like, it sounds corny, but I really have been doing the same thing. Like, how can I choose? That's the other thing that's on my to-do list. How can I choose myself today? How can I choose myself today? Like if it's, not getting on social media, if it's, loving myself more, if it's painting, if it's turning off my phone for an hour or whatever it is, like how can I really choose myself in everything that I'm doing? And this is
with no distractions. Like what could you do with that intentional time? Even if it's spending it with yourself and chilling. Again, I don't want people to think I'm trying to be like, oh, you better go start something right now or go do something. Like, no, not necessarily. Like you could chill. But man, like what can you get better at this time? Like you making beats, you doing something?
Yeah,
do something with your time.
Yeah, picking up like Korean, like Mandarin, picking up a language, like working out more, spending more time for yourself, checking in, reading more books. I have like 4 books going. I normally have 2.
Dang, I meant to ask you to bring mine back. My dad was asking me about that too.
I have it in my bag.
Do you? Because my she took a book from my crib when she was here. Not took it, but like she was borrowing the book. And my dad hit me like a week after. Was like, Lex, man, there's a book you should read. And it was the same book. And I was like, Dad, that was your version like that I have. He was like, that's why I couldn't find it. And I was like, yeah, I gave it to my friend, by the way. He was like, well, you need to get that back. And I was like, all right. But he already got another one. But I was like, dang, let me remember it. Because I was like, maybe I need to read it because my dad wanted to talk about it. But I was like, yeah, that was yours. So you have my dad's copy of the book.
He highlighted it and everything.
Was it really?
It's highlighted. There's like, yeah.
That's funny.
It's great parts. So. And he's the GOAT anyway. So
yeah.
To be able to see the highlight.
Bros.
Shout out. I think it's also a moment to sit back and like look at society. We're talking about people hoarding things, like just being able to buy toilet paper or whatever. Like
smart, a lot of people are with like common things. Like there's no difference in your hands and gloves if you're gonna go all day, 24 hours with the gloves on. Like you're doing the same thing. So like I just think be educated and pay attention and just pay attention to what's going on and to what you need to do. And in the next coming weeks, like things are going to continue to change very much. And I think that we have to stay kind to ourselves, to each other, as Carlie says. And I don't know, we'll see what happens. I'm just so interested in how things are going to change after this or because of this. I feel like if anybody's seen Leftovers or basically any apocalyptic or outbreak show or any of those things, how it's like, it weirds me out when I start to see like billboards that are like, stay clean, stay home. I feel like they're giving me like government messages almost when I'm like seeing the same message everywhere. And it's like, damn, we got to be on lockdown. I saw 2 police like riding bikes around the neighborhood today, like telling people to like go inside, which makes sense though, because it's hard when it's nice outside and people don't listen and we don't think about the grave danger. Like even if I'm asymptomatic or if I have something on me and I don't have it, like how that spreads and like what you could be doing. So I think the best case is to mind your business, mind yourself and stay clean, stay healthy and take care of yourself however you can during this time.
You really have to figure out what that looks like for you. But to Lisa's point, I went to Trader Joe's. I was standing in line, social distancing, 6 feet behind the person in front of me.
It's not natural for people.
No, but hold on. This lady rolled up right behind me, stands right up on me. And so I take a step forward. Mm-hmm. She takes a step forward. I take a step over. She takes a step over. I turn around. I say, excuse me. She was like, oh, the social distancing thing. And I was like,
regardless.
Like, why are you standing? First of all, why are you standing so close to me in the first place? But second of all, yes, ma'am, you're breathing on my neck. And I don't understand why you're so close to me, damn it.
Yeah, this lady was jogging. I was outside the other day and this lady was jogging by and she was like coughing and she immediately was sorry. And I was like, so funny. Everybody's like, they don't want it to seem like they have anything or whatever. Like she was so upset. Everyone was like looking like Ike from what's his name? Looking like Ike. Y'all know the photo I'm talking about, but everybody was just like looking like that at her. She was like, oh, sorry.
Cleaning in the first place, and why aren't you more thoughtful about those things? Like I was on the plane back from Oklahoma like 2 weeks ago, right when everything started getting shut down. I was flying back to LA. I had a plane like with 12 people, and somebody on the plane was just hacking up a lung, and then they looked and everybody on the plane was like,
right, like so what y'all about to do about this? I mean, but that's what it is. So hopefully everybody here is feeling okay. And I don't know what you guys plan to do with the rest of y'all Saturday. I'm going to keep drinking and working. I haven't started working today. That's what's stressing me out, but I have work to do. So I'm going to be on chill mode. What about you for the weekend?
About to start doing some work.
Like some more taking all my stuff, huh?
I'm saying, you put it on social media. I just am inspired. And I've been doing it and making sure that I'm taking this thoughtful time. I almost had a list. That was weird. Making sure that I'm taking...
That's that Jack Daniels.
Make sure I'm taking this thoughtful time for myself.
Empty. I just wanted them to know.
I know. Oh, yeah,
you was trying to hide.
A little bit more. I hope that y'all are doing the same thing and knowing that like what you do and what works for you won't necessarily look like what Alexi and I are doing, but finding really what works for you and not beating yourself up too much if you have an unproductive day. Like there is a lot of energy going around, a lot of frenetic, like panic energy, and so we can be easily affected by that. But making sure that you are getting your rest, you are eating, you are getting your sunshine, you are moving a little bit, whatever that looks like. And, finding those outlets to help invest in yourself. I was listening to a sermon the other day, and she was saying, in 8 to 10 weeks, we will be able to tell who was working, who was like applying pressure for themselves, like not necessarily to go start a business or do whatever, but like
I think the kids just don't fall off, don't fall off. I'm seeing a few people kind of like crumbling a little bit and like resorting to too much drinking or resorting to like just falling apart. And I think that you got to get together. That's the only thing. I think you should just brainstorm, just think on things. Man, brainstorming is so powerful too, like lately for me as well. So like really just letting your brain go and just see what happens with it. And I think I've been telling myself like I want to try to get more social. I haven't been for like months. I don't know what that's about or what it is really, but like I don't know, like even with the lives, like I actually happened to hop into somebody else's random live yesterday and everybody's complaining about them, but I was like, this is actually kind of fun. It was like a couple people, not one of those big ones, like I'm not gonna be in that, but and it was somebody I didn't really know, but I was like, oh, this is kind of cool to just like hear people think and what they're going through right now and just talking about different stuff and engaging each other. I want to say I'm open for like people to hit me up more and like talk but I'm not. And
that's okay.
But I want to say too, like I want to be on like Instagram more. Like I just don't. And I just haven't been feeling it because it's just not what my focus is right now. But I don't know. I feel pretty good today. I'm glad like you guys showed up today to chat with us. Yeah, and I hope that you just feel like a little inspired to like, figure it out. Like everything is changing. Part of like how those things go, whatever your industry is, whatever you're just where is that going? What's going to be different now because of this? And really getting on that. Yeah, the pollen's killing me too, Nate. That's the thing. Like science out here is like kind of like, but it's just the pollen in your throat and not everything else. So it's
and I was hoping that the sun stays out there. I hope so too, because it has been bringing me life. Nate is giving us toast.
Don't touch your face, That is something cool too. I was thinking like, man, how different is the future going to be? And people like actually being a little more sanitary and not that we're super unsanitary, but just in general, like definitely wiping off your thing in the grocery store and like stuff like that may become more, like more of a regular thing for everybody. Hopefully some of the stuff will go away as far as people who are trying to price gouge and like people who are taking advantage of situations.
They're getting arrested.
AKA the whole United States government trying to make things cost $1 zillion. Like that shit is stupid.
I saw a thing that said if coronavirus doesn't kill us, the U.S. is trying to make sure capitalism will.
I mean, that's how it goes. And yeah, that's how it goes. So, I mean, it's nice to see that people care about other people and the angles that people have towards moving forward right now being that we want to make sure everybody's safe as a unit. In other countries, in Korea, for whatever, they always would have the mask on. Like you walk around like that regularly because you don't want to get other people sick. So I just wonder how things will change. Nate said earlier, it feels like the happening. And yeah, it feels like we're like on the edge of something. And this is so, I don't want to say cool because it's not like it's a good thing, but it's so interesting how like this is like history. Like
it is.
This is such an asterisk here. Like everybody, like stats is messed up. The Olympics, about to be on odd number of years. Like everything is just changing. And I think it's fascinating to pay attention to and to be part of and to watch.
Me too. It's exciting. It's interesting. Thinking about how this will look later on in history and thinking about, how much I do control what I'm doing in this moment. Like you really can't control anything else around you, but you can control how you respond, how you react. You can control your actions and choices and thoughts for the most part. Like you can think about them and regulate them. And so I've been trying to bring my focus instead of being on all the shit that's going around. Like, what is it on the inside? Instead of turning outside, how can you turn inside? And I got that from the Black and Bold conversation yesterday, which I super enjoyed.
Yeah, that was good.
So I love that. Tayshaw said it's cool to see that the earth is still earthing. Like as all this is happening and humans are globally, the earth is still on its same MO. And that's true. LA has been the most beautiful. I've seen it in a really, really long time, maybe ever. And I don't know if that's all the rain and the chemtrails or if it's actually like people just not being outside.
And I know it says studying the virus in a couple of years. Yeah, and biology is going to be interesting. Yeah, all of it will be. And just the way that we react and respond to these types of things, like all of that has to change. There's a lot of holes that are being shown and weak spots that we all knew were there. But, it's about honestly, at the end of the day, I think certain people don't care about what happens to certain other people. So at the end of the day, I think it's people need to care more about other people. If nobody has anything else to say, do you have anything else?
Do you have a question?
No, not necessarily. I would just tell everybody stay safe. I shout you all out.
Yeah, thank y'all for tuning in.
Okay, I'm about to say, but if you do want to say something else, I wanted to give you the chance. But thank you guys for joining us. We'll have this episode out this Monday, episode 80. And yeah, hit us up. Hit us up if you need anything.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. Hope you have an amazing day, and toast to everybody that's drinking today.
Cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
Take care of yourself. Bye.
Bye, guys.